Trey.
I think mine's on.
Okay, we still have a couple of minutes, so
I can bring something.
we'll wait to 9.
Maybe. You wanna look?
It is wrong with him.
Any idea? No, that's investment.
No?
LaShawn Johnson. They call him Miss Johnson. I don't. What Tim? He gonna show up?
He's at a doctor's office appointment. He said he'd be here as soon as he could. Right at 9, he said.
All right, cause we got Miss Johnson back at Philip Johnson that we had around Circle Road. He supposed to be making sure he got the answer for his last meeting.
Tim will be, he will be here.
Ronnie, how you doing? Say, man. Yes, sir, you too.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. We'll get our meeting started on February 21st. As always, if you would, just take a minute and cut your cell phone on silent, or maybe cut it off. And also, as always, we'll start with our prayer with Dwayne and our pledge with Will.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Y'all pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, as we come into your presence this morning, God, we come with thankful hearts, God, thankful for the blessings you bestow upon our lives, God, even though many times we take those blessings for granted. Just forgive us for that. God, we just ask you to be with us in this meeting this morning, God, that every decision made this morning will be in accordance with your will and be pleasing to you. Just forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Will?
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Mr. Lott?
Yes, Mr. President, you should have before you the February the 6th board minutes. I would ask if there are no changes, please approve said minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Espy, I did have a change.
I sent an email last night and again this morning. I don't see the minutes on my computer. I read them last night. There's a slight error involving the matter between the county, the city of Canton on the EWPP
Right.
program. I'd like it just to be described a little bit better, that we're doing this because federal government rejected 2 projects and Canton agreed to cooperate with us. So as long as we put that in, it was like, just a matter of fact, it ought to be described because it's gonna get around, you know.
What are you saying? How do you say it should be described?
These are EWPP projects that are denied by the federal government.
We had 2 of them.
2 of them, both. In there, it does say Martin Luther King Road and King Ranch Road. That's in there, but it doesn't say what it is.
Right.
It just says we agreed to do it. I'm just saying we need to describe what it is. What it is a EWPP watershed program. But these 2 were denied by the federal government, and that's why we agreed to cooperate with the state of Canton to complete them. That's all.
Okay. With that being said, do I have a motion for approval with that info added to it?
I'll make that motion.
Motion Supervisor Banks. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second Supervisor Jones. Discussion? Thank you for bringing that up, Mike, as well. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, we're going to move on to concerned citizens. James Woods. And if you would, each one, because we may have several today, state your name, address, and 2 minutes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to start, my name is James Woods, and my address is 614 Naylor Street in Carthage, Mississippi. I would like to start off by thanking Mr. Higginbottom for putting me on the agenda this morning, but I just come to inform the Madison County Board that I am running as a qualified candidate for House of Representative for District 27, which includes Madison County, Yazoo County, Leake County, and Atala County. Like I said, I currently live in Leake County, but I graduated from Velma Jackson High School in 1999, went on to graduate from the University of Mississippi, and I'm currently receiving my master's in public administration from Belhaven University. Three of the top main issues that I'm running on is improving manufacturing for the district, bringing in more funding for healthcare as well as education. Once again, this is just a formal introduction. I didn't want to hit the news media and then all of a sudden everyone say, well, he didn't tell us. So this is me formally informing everybody. I would love to sit down one day and speak with each one of you before the actual election and talk about, if I'm elected, how can I help the County of Madison. So thank you guys, and I really appreciate it.
And before you go, one other question is.
Yes, sir.
What area of Madison County are you running for?
Northeast Madison County.
Northeast.
Northeast?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
Good luck.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Regina Phillips. State your name, address, and 2 minutes, please.
Hi, good morning to everybody. My name is Regina Phillips, and I live at 513 Carpenter Cove in Falls Crossing. And I would also like to say thank you guys for having me here today on the agenda.
Can you talk in the mic a little
I'm sorry.
closer? And tell me where you live again now?
513 Carpenter Cove in Falls Crossing,
Oh,
Gluckstadt.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Can I proceed?
Go ahead now.
Okay, and I'm here to present an issue with my concrete at the end of my driveway. I have photos. It's been ongoing since 2020. I have had several email interactions with Homeland Management. That's a HOA. They told me to call the county, talk to them about it. We've had supervisors to come out, engineers to come out, and they said that they were going to fix it. So the last time I talked to somebody was 2 weeks ago, and that was the engineer with the county, Mr. Tim, and he told me to contact Mr. Trey Baxter's office. It will be an issue with that, but the gap is about 6 to 7 inches. We cannot drive over it any longer. It's growing some type of algae in it. It's gotten all over my yard. 2 of our cars have had tire issues, and when I called a landscaper about stuff in the yard, he informed me it was because of some settling water. The settling water is because of that gap. The county stated, yes, it was on them. First, they said that the supervisors, I guess, over the subdivision didn't put the second layer of asphalt, but it's been a back and forth thing, but it's bad. It's really bad. It has really separated. It's bad. And I'm just asking for some help with it.
Okay, Supervisor Baxter.
Tim, will you come up? I know we've talked about this.
She said.
Falls Crossing.
Ma'am, will you let him come to the?
Yes, I'm sorry. Hi, how are you?
What do we need to do here?
Well, it's as I told Ms. Phillips, this is more of a construction project than maintenance for us. It's going to take about 50 foot of curb that has to be brought out. We'll have to replace that curb, then we'll have to pave back up to it. It has shifted out. It's in a radius, so the curb has shifted out. It's closer to 2 inches than 7 inches, but it has shifted.
Will you show the other supervisors those pictures so they know what we're looking at?
Sure.
You haven't got a cost estimate, have you, Tim?
I haven't. Well, I may have. Did I give you a cost estimate? Do you remember? Okay. I can get one.
Yeah, that
I
what we
want
gonna
them to
need.
see what we're talking about before we go any further.
I was just like I said, I don't know if you've seen it up close, but it's a big gap.
I can't hear you at all. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, the gap is big. Maybe we didn't measure it right, but it's not just a little gap. I
We're
mean, it's
gonna,
on
we're
the
gonna look
pictures.
at it and see.
Yes, sir, it's really
We're
big.
gonna look and Tim, do you know what caused this? Or what may have caused it?
Typically, in radius as the concrete expands when it gets really hot.
Yes.
And when it does, it pushes that asphalt out. I'm wondering if this one did not have reinforcement in the curb. That's a good indicator because this one broke mid-curb. It didn't break at a contraction joint. It broke mid-curb. But we'll be able to tell that when we pull it out.
Doesn't matter whether, doesn't matter how it happened, we still are
Right, it doesn't matter, but
responsible, yeah.
that, that's my opinion of how it
Can we
happened.
fill the gap in without tearing the whole curb out?
We could fill the gap in.
Why don't we try that
And make it
first?
look neat.
Well, I mean, you can be able to tell that it's a patch in there, but I mean, if we tear the curb out, the whole street's gonna look like a patch because we've gotta fix the asphalt in
Do that.
front of the curb.
Tim, I don't believe, has the curb actually moved, or has it,
It did.
curb
Yeah,
actually
some of them
moved?
move.
Curb moved out into the road, and that's why there's a little hump in the asphalt, because it's pushed that asphalt up and humped it up.
I would probably leave it to you and Supervisor Baxter to look at it, because that is pretty wide, that's very wide.
Yeah, it's,
It is.
Couple
It's-
inches.
It looks like it's more than 2 inches.
oh, it may
You
be.
know, it may be more than 7.
Maybe, because we just.
Yeah.
Yep. It right in a driveway. She
I
going.
would ask that you work with Supervisor Baxter and y'all come back, you know, if you can't do it in-house somewhere, another, repair it in-house, come back with some kind of estimate
Okay,
to
will
the
do.
board.
Well, I think, well, Cornelius, have you looked at this? You awake? Cornelius?
Leave.
Cornelius,
They just voted to fire you, man, while you talking to Scott.
Have you looked at this issue?
No, it's my first time hearing of it.
All right, well, y'all get together and come up with a solution and give me a call.
Okay.
If it ain't cost her that much,
break right
go
there.
and fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go and fix it.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Push the pavement up.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, ma'am. So basically Supervisor Baxter and Tim's gonna get together?
Tim
look
and
at it.
Cornelius are gonna call me.
Okay.
Supervisor Griffin said that it needs to be, that they need to go ahead and fix it, as opposed to having to come back to us. We're not looking at a very, very expensive situation, so I'd like to make a motion, along with what Supervisor Griffin said, that they just go fix it, don't have to come back to us, just fix it. So,
Tim, do you have a cost, I know you don't have an estimate, do you have a guesstimate?
If we get a contractor to go out there and tear out the curb and fix it, you're probably in
We're not-
$8,000 to $10,000 range. If we fix it and we just go in there and patch the area, the void behind it, and then mill the asphalt down in front of it, I mean, that's a minimal, it's time and, road department time.
What would you like to do?
What are we doing as far, what estimate on patching it? And I guess my main question is, if we patch it, how long you think it'll hold up?
yeah.
Is it gonna be a year?
I don't know. If it's done moving, then it'll hold up forever.
If we put
But-
another curb in there, it could still move again, right?
Well, if we put the proper reinforcement in that curb, which is what I think wasn't there the first time, I think it'll hold a lot better.
Okay.
It sounds like it needs to be repaired, with the broken. So we have a motion.
Yeah, my motion is for a permanent repair.
I'll second.
Motion by Supervisor Banks, second by Supervisor Baxter, as far as going and repairing it. So y'all two still get together. So any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
All right, we'll get on it.
Thank you. Next is Michael with Kimpro.
Good morning. My name's Michael Schuman with Kimpro Services. I appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning. I'm a longtime Madison resident. I live in Ashbrook. I've been a volunteer with Gluckstadt Fire Department for about 8 years, I think. I met last week with the road manager, Mr. Bacon, about some herbicide spraying applications, and he recommended I come and present to the board. Basically, Kimpro does roadside spraying all across Mississippi. We're probably involved with about 30-plus counties in Mississippi. We spray ditches for the city of Madison, the city of Richland, the city of Brandon, the city of Clinton. So we're all over this area doing herbicide work. My division, like I said, is with the roadside spraying, where we go down through the county road, spraying the side of the road, putting out a pre-emergent application as well as a growth regulator application. I know Madison County had done some spraying several years ago, and I don't know exactly what's being done now. I don't think there's any spraying being done. Our program's a little different maybe than what's been done with other companies. We're not trying to brown out the side of the road, kill the grass on the side of the road, burn it down, make it look like scorched earth. Our herbicides that we use and the chemicals that we use intend to keep the grass green, the Bermuda grass and Bahia grass. That's what you want on the side of the road is Bermuda and Bahia. We don't want things like Johnson grass and thistle, clover, things like that. We just want more of a monostand type of grass, and that's what our program provides. We also do brush work as well, where we spray, maybe up to about 17 feet high, just chemically trimming the brush back so you don't have to come down through there with the side mower and basically beat the limbs off the edge of the trees and things. This just kind of browns out the leaves. We tend to do it towards the fall, so it's not as noticeable. So there's not a real obvious spray pattern there. That everything just kind of turns brown as the leaves are turning brown for the end of the year, and it's not as noticeable. We did a ton of that work for Rankin County last year, spraying their roads. We do a dirt road application as well, to where we kill the vegetation on the side of the road. It makes it easier to come through with the motor grader and kind of grade those roads back in. The roots don't get all balled up. We typically do 2 applications a year. We do one this time of year with a pre-emergent to keep a lot of the weeds from coming up so they don't ever become a problem. It delays the first mowing cycle of the year, and then we come in, like I said, in the summertime with a growth regulator to take care of Johnson grass and to basically stunt the vegetation on the side of the road. It saves a lot in mowing. You're not running down through there with the bush hogs. I talked to a county last week. They estimated the program that we implemented there last year saved them $150,000 on mowing. They ended up mowing just one time last year, and he said what that did was allow him to take his employees and put them on the chip sealing projects. They were able to do a lot more chip sealing last summertime when the weather's nice for chip sealing. Instead of mowing, they would use those guys on chip seal. Another county that we sprayed for last year, we sprayed about 300 miles for them. We sprayed it twice. They didn't have a single complaint in the whole county as far as I know and as far as they know. It wasn't a scorched earth thing where we came through and browned it up. We were just able to stunt the grass and reduce the mowing for them. So.
What's the board's wishes?
Cornelius, you got something you want to say about this?
What I can say on this is that when we were spraying, a few years ago we were spraying, it's cut up back from mowing 4 times a year to 3 times a year. And plus we didn't start cutting till ready in May because they killed everything. Because the bigger grass you have grow make it look so bad, it's Johnson grass and weeds and stuff. And so when we were spraying with, Greg was spraying for us, it did help us out a whole lot had to mow 4 times. We were mowing like 3 times, and then we had to start early, we didn't start till like May cutting.
If we went with his program that he's describing, how many times would that cut back on cutting the grass?
It should cut us 3 times.
It should cut us back 3 times?
We cut 3 times, you won't have to cut 4. We won't have to cut that 4th time.
Because I know that Michael mentioned that, one county just cut once a year.
Right.
Instead of.
Typical 2 times a year on our spray program.
Instead of 4 times or?
Yes.
So he's talking about cutting it by 50%. Here you are saying at least, I guess you're saying at least 1 time.
Yeah, 1 time it'll stop us from cutting and then the application you're talking about on the spraying the bush, that's help a lot. Because a lot of people want to cut them brush mower down, cutting them trees down, and he sprayed that there, keep that back. Because a lot of people complain about can't see around the edge of the road with the limbs sticking out. But if they'll keep that back, we won't have to cut it with the brush mower.
You talking about the spray gonna keep the bushes back?
If you want to do it, I'm ready.
Yes, sir. You can tell on the very front of that application.
Bring something back.
You got some pictures?
Yeah.
That's the limbs that are sticking out in the middle of the road.
Did you get that?
Speaking of the mic.
I'm really not a big fan of spraying, only around bridges. For being here over 20-some years, spraying hadn't been that effective, and I represent probably about 90% of the rural area. we gonna have problems if we not clipping. So I would not be supporting a spraying of all the roads. If you come back with something a little smaller, the ditches, the bridges, and something like that, I might consider it. But not thinking you're gonna spray all the roads and the city's gonna be satisfied. No way. Did that, done that.
Yes, sir. I totally understand. I didn't mean to come across as we want to spray every road in Madison County. No, we don't do that typically. Some counties will focus on their state aid roads. Some will focus on their dirt roads. I mean, we do have one county we spray 800 miles for them. But typically, some roads counties we might do 25 miles for that county. Some we might do 50, might do 100. We can definitely break it down into whatever kind of a program that would benefit Madison County the most.
State aid road, I see no problem doing state aid roads. Can you get with Cornelius and Tim and bring us back something smaller, something like the state aid roads and the long big roads that got shoulders on it, and we can work on something like that.
Yeah, and also in other districts, if you have a road in your district that you would like to implement this with, just get with Tim or Cornelius. But do we not spray our bridges now, as far as the limbs and weeds?
Well,
and stuff?
we used to spray, cause when we were spraying, they gave us a chemical to spray so it wouldn't harm the fish or nothing in the water, and we spray on the bridge. But now, we don't spray them old guys, they get up under the weed eating and stuff. And the only thing about that, the snakes out in the summertime, the snakes are rolling, and they're up on all them riffraff and stuff.
But we are required to spray and clean, make sure the bridges and stuff clean on state aid.
Mm-hmm.
We are required to do that.
Oh yeah, we clean, we cuss it, we just don't spray it like we used to, cause we don't have the chemicals that we were getting from them, but we do cut it and stuff.
And I think
And this spraying will eliminate the risk of an employee getting down there among the snakes.
Yeah, and I think that's what Supervisor Griffin was asking.
Cornelius,
Bring something back.
Cornelius, can you develop a road plan for what roads need to be sprayed?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Okay, good deal. That's the way we'll leave it. Y'all two work together. You three work together.
Okay, all right.
Bring something back. Thank you, Mike.
Thank y'all for your
Thank
time.
you. All right.
All right, I think we probably have other concerned citizens, but I think most are here for the Comcast internet. If you're not and you would like to speak now, please do so.
There is one that is on this list that's not here for Comcast, and that would be Philip Johnson.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson, come on up to the mic, Johnson.
On up
Mr. Johnson.
to the mic and state your name and address.
Tim should have some information on this. This is Mr. Johnson by Brown Circle, Tim.
Ms. Johnson, if you would, come up and state your name and address in a couple of minutes.
Good morning.
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 158 Brown Circle. My name is Philip Johnson. I was asking them to extend the pavement on Brown Circle to the end. And that was my request because I can't get in and out when it rains. And the road is very difficult. And they had stopped the pavement at one house, at two houses. And I was just trying to get them to extend.
And the pavement stop right there.
Brown Circle, Tim.
Tim?
Yeah.
It's on this photo.
Okay. Whose district is that?
District 5?
Yeah, that's off Highway 16, east.
Tim?
Go ahead.
At last board meeting, y'all asked me to go back and look at the limits of what we consider Brown Circle. Currently, the asphalt extends up to, if you look at the aerial photograph, it's about the top of that curve to the left. So everything on the horseshoe that comes back to the south is not paved, not maintained, but according to our road plan, is within the limits of Brown Circle. I printed off the one in aerial so you could see the houses, but the other one this not very good resolution came off of the 2000 road registry that, as we all know, is what we go by for limits of roads. So we do currently have that under our maintenance.
So it is a public road,
It is a public road.
and he just wants to.
There's no right-of-way associated with it. It's a prescriptive easement, but we do show it as being maintained by the county.
Okay, Paul.
Cornelius, if you will, go up and get it fixed where they can get in there. I know it's too wet and muddy for you to do anything else. Maybe you can scrape it off, put some rocks on it until another day. We might be able to get a little asphalt on that 75 yards.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. I appreciate your help.
Yes, sir. Any other concerned citizens that are not here
For Comcast.
for Comcast? If not, we will move down to consent items. Are there any items that would like to be removed for further discussion on consent? If not, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion Supervisor Baxter, do I have a second?
Second.
Second Supervisor Jones, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Moving down to business items, Mr. Brian Johnson. Our insurance specialist.
Good morning, Mr. President,
Good morning.
Morning.
supervisors. I think you all had an email of this sent to you last week, but wanted to present to you a hard copy just in case. I'm here this morning, and, my only intent is just to provide a somewhat midterm update in reference to health insurance. If you recall, this board last year approved FBB Insurance as the county's agent with the health insurance plan. Since that time, there have been some results. I also have my colleague here, Angela White, who's, does pretty much of the heavy lifting in day-to-day operations, and she'll be able to address any questions if there are any. But since that time, we reviewed the county's health insurance plans, contracts, have also made sure, things are up to date with current legislation. If you can focus on the page where you'll see the premiums, and it's a highlighted area, I think it's probably page 3, and you can see, there's been probably about a $300,000 overall savings from prior to us coming on board to us coming on board. Not to mention those premium savings on the page, coverage has also been enhanced. We have been able to remove some lasers and even reduce, some of the limitations on the county's plan. Another thing that we spoke about before coming on board was implementing technology for the county. I do not think at that time being able to do your open enrollment online and making changes to an individual's plan online was in effect. And we did a test phase with this with new hires, 35 hires we've done this test phase with, and it was close to almost 100% feedback, positive feedback. So we also have implemented that technology that should go into full effect March. Other than that, again, this is just somewhat of a midterm update. Wanted to brief you on that and open the floor for any questions or concerns.
Brian, appreciate you coming in front and giving to us. And I see that the savings is $393,000 is what the savings is. But I see most of it has come with reinsurance. And is that where approximately 7% decrease, but is that where y'all went through and looked at and seen what we need or what we didn't need and removed those items?
Well, I'm on.
I see a lot of the other items did increase.
Right.
Which is.
And I'm going to ask Angela to come up because, again, the whole process, and, we talked about the role of an agent. what we did was, during that tenure, we approached probably 6 or 7 other insurance carriers, and I don't think that had been done in quite a while. So we did move your reinsurance carrier to a new carrier, which was some savings. Also, and I'll let Angela speak to this, for the United Healthcare piece, we were able to remove some limitations, what you call lasers. And so that's similar to a deductible for an individual, so there was some cost savings in reference to that.
Yeah, I would like to hear a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Thank you, supervisors. I'm Angela White with Fisher Brown Bottrell Insurance. And what we did, as Brian said, is we marketed your reinsurance. We kept your current insurance with UMR, and they're kind of the base of it. But the reinsurance is that excess or stop-loss insurance that goes on top of that. So y'all have what's called a $100,000 spec deductible. So everybody in the plan, once they meet that spec deductible, anything after that would be covered under the reinsurance. And so y'all do have a fairly low spec deductible. I believe in 2021, y'all had about 6 people hit that. You had a $415,000 laser, separate individual laser on an individual back in 21, 22. We have been able to remove all lasers going forward on this, and that's a complete separate, like I said, deductible for an individual that has high cost claims. And so that could save you, when you look at, actually on this renewal page, if you see at the top, you had a $350,000 laser and a $275,000 laser, and those were removed going into our renewal with our new reinsurance carrier. And I just wanted to let y'all know as well, it shows a laser of $250,000 with Reunion Berkshire Hathaway. That has been removed. That person is no longer on the plan and did not elect COBRA. So not only are we saving money, but we're not going to have these lasers going into this year as well, or finishing out the year. So, you know, obviously the $393,000 is an estimate. It's annualized, but we are looking really good going into the rest of this year. Did that answer your questions?
Yes, and who did we go with on the reinsurance?
Berkshire Hathaway.
That's who we went with.
They're an
Okay.
A++ rated company,
They
yes,
did?
sir. Yes, sir.
And that was brought to your consideration in October. So we did not make any changes without the board's consent.
Good deal. Any other questions?
Yeah, on the open enrollment, you said you got it where you can go online to do your enrollment. That's not gonna be the only way. The employee still will be able to come up that once a year and enter into their enrollment, right?
Yes, we'll have an open enrollment next year as well, where all the employees can come in like we've had, and then they can go online if they choose. I think the way we handle it normally, Loretta, is that they come in and we answer any questions, help them through the open enrollment if they need help with the online services, or Loretta can help enroll them at that time.
Excuse me. Good morning. Just to piggyback off that, not only are we talking about open enrollment, just like now, if someone got married or need to add someone to their health insurance, we'll be pushing it out March 1. They will be able to go online and take care of all that information, just in case if they can't or don't feel like coming to the office, they have both options. They can either come to the HR department or they'll be able to go online and do it.
All right.
So that's for any time of the year, not just open enrollment.
All right, great. Great.
And I just want to close with, in conclusion, we're grateful for the opportunity. I trust, the items that I've mentioned, have made the board's decision effective, efficient, and beneficial to Madison County. And, we want to continue the partnership, and, we feel that this partnership between the public sector and the local business, such as us, is, good for all involved. So thank you all.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for the update as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving along to Comcast, we have a couple of three here. Mike Mitchell is the person we've been working directly with. So, Mike, if you would come up and introduce yourself to the board and also to everyone else that's listening.
Great. Mr. Commissioner, thank you so much Supervisor, excuse me. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Mike Mitchell. I represent Comcast in our Central Division Government Affairs. Our Central Division is 12 states, which includes Mississippi. So under that umbrella, we do state government affairs, local government affairs, regulatory, and community impact. So we're very grateful for the opportunity to present today. We appreciate Madison County's commitment to partner with Comcast to provide broadband access to the residents of Madison County. We look forward to furthering this partnership with the county and submitting an application for Round 5 of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's RUS funding. While we were disappointed that our attempt to submit an application in Round 4 was not successful, we feel that unless there is a significant change in the RUS requirements, we will be in a very good position to successfully submit an application in Round 5. In preparation for Round 5, we have been in communication with members of the County Board of Supervisors, the county's outside counsel, and we've kept our internal team in place that we worked with on the Round 4 application. And what that means is our internal legal, our legal regulatory team, our finance team, our construction and engineering, as well as an outside counsel that we've brought on board to help us get through this process. And to ensure that once the application process is in place for Round 5, we will assess what has changed from Round 4 and will then proceed with the application. If there are any other additional concerns, we will raise them with the Board of Supervisors immediately. And just to let you know, as part of our agreement with you and based on our previous conversations, we've already begun our walkout and design, we've begun our walkout and we're in the process of doing our design phase. And so walkout means we go out and we assess really what the design is going to need to look like and what type of materials are going to be used for, or necessary, for that design. We've learned some very important lessons from our effort in Round 4. We have the support of the leadership of our company. Madison County, Mississippi is very important to the leadership of our corporation. We had to get the CFO of our company to sign off on the Round 4 application. Our Big South region, which is part of our central division and our corporate partners all support this effort. And then our outside counsel remains engaged and will continue to work with us to satisfy the USDA RUS requirements necessary to successfully submit this application. But while we are confident that we will get this application moving forward, we want to go into this effort with our eyes wide open, and we want to have full disclosure with the Board of Supervisors as we have this discussion. This is going to be a challenging process, but we feel that we can get there working with you. Based on our effort in Round 4, we've got a great foundation that we're going to build off, and we will continue to work forward to make sure that this application is successful. We're committed to this partnership with Madison County. As we mentioned earlier, unless there are material changes to Round 5, we fully intend to move forward with submitting an application. In addition to submitting this application, we fully intend to pursue all other paths forward as far as granting funding to provide broadband to the state. And as we mentioned in previous meetings, the state BEAM funding as well, and then down the line, there's another program called BEAD coming from the federal government. So that's something we fully intend to move forward with the RUS grant, but as a insurance policy, for lack of a better term, we'd like to move forward with the state BEAM as well as the federal BEAD funding going forward, and that's through the NTIA. We're thankful for the collaboration we've received from Madison County and the Board of Supervisors. Secretary Espy, we appreciate all the time you've given us and the conversation that we've had. We are grateful for the partnership with Wagner Engineering as well. And we are committed to this partnership with Madison County, and we will pursue this project, as I mentioned earlier, with every path available. It's our desire to make this project work for the residents of the county, and we believe Comcast remains the best ISP option for this project due to our experience in building and managing broadband networks and our commitment to deploy our state-of-the-art 10G network, in the county. Thank you for your time and your willingness to discuss this important matter with you today, and I'm happy to answer any questions, have any comments that you might have.
Yes, and Paul may want to pitch in here. The area that we're describing.
Yes, sir.
Is which area?
I've been told, talking with Ronnie, District 5, it's 3,100 homes, and it's about 478 miles of plant, so that's in District 5.
Yes, that's
Supervisor Griffin's district.
Basically all of northeast Madison County. And I do have some constituents here that are very concerned about the deadline that was missed prior to this.
Sure.
But you didn't say that this application was a 300-page application.
Sure.
That still, there's no excuse, but I'm just want to let them know where you're talking, you ain't talking about a 5-page.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and I appreciate you raising that. Look, I didn't want to come up here and complain, but that's a very valid point. We're the only ISP in the country, with the exception of one up in the state of Alaska, that's gotten to the point where they've hit submit on the application. And our challenge for not getting that round 4 submitted was there were some technical glitches in our 300-page application that prevented us from making the deadline. So, to my comment earlier, with the foundation that we have, as soon as this application opens up, we're going to have our team, the team that I mentioned earlier, fully engaged and moving forward to make sure that that does not happen again with the round 5.
Well, great. We're looking forward to working with you all, getting that application
Yes, sir.
filed. And once you get that application filed, maybe we can get you all back in the community.
Of course.
And let the community know exactly what y'all look like and what y'all doing.
That's something we would love to do.
But we gonna wait till you push that button to get it filed.
Yes, sir. No, that's a legitimate claim, but also, look, as a company supervisor, the fabric of our company is investing in the community and partnering in the community. So once we get this moving forward, and as we get the design and build out, we want to partner with you and folks within District 5 to make sure that people are aware of who Comcast is and what we're doing within the community.
Right.
Mike, appreciate you being in.
I
in
want
the
to say
meeting.
something.
I know last time as Supervisor Griffin.
Oh.
Supervisor Griffin mentioned that we did miss the date last year.
Yes, sir.
This year, y'all are asking for waivers.
Yes, sir.
From the county, and you've added a couple of extra waivers that
Yes, sir.
wasn't on the request last year.
Yes.
Don't know whether we can get all the waivers or not. I kind of doubt it, just talking with our attorney, Espy. But what we don't want to do is make sure that if there's 2 or 3 waivers that we didn't get, that application didn't get sent in.
Yes, sir.
We want to make sure that the application gets sent in this time.
Mr. Chairman, that's a great question. Our goal is to get to yes, right? So in our last round, there were a couple waivers that were not accepted from the Department of Agriculture, or they told Secretary Espy, and we found a way to work around them. This is something that we will work very closely, and if there is a problem, you will be the first to know. This group will be the first to know. But that's something that why we have our outside counsel, why we have our legal regulatory team, we have our legal team. God, we've got layers involved in this process. So it's something that we want to get to yes, because our U.S. grant funding we see as a legitimate opportunity for us to partner with communities like Madison County, especially District 5. And can I just, Secretary Espy asked me, I want to introduce Ronnie Colvin. I'm sure you're familiar with Ronnie. Ronnie's on the ground.
Ronnie, come
here
up.
in Mississippi. And then my colleague Melinda Little. Melinda Little is the head of government affairs for our Big South region. Within the region, Madison County and the state of Mississippi fall within our Big South. And I'd be remiss of saying Mississippi means a lot to our company. Our first system was in Tupelo, Mississippi. So we have a long history within the state of Mississippi, and we're grateful for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank
I did
you.
not mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
I just want to say that I live in the south part of the county, so we have all our Wi-Fi and all, but it's really important that the kids up in the north part of the county have access to that too, because they can do virtual school if they have to, all kinds of things. So we really need this done.
Supervisor, we understand, and thank you for those comments. And look, since the situation happened with round 4, we've spent a fair amount of time here, meeting with Supervisor Griffin, excuse me. I do multiple states, so I get Commissioner and Supervisor confused. I do apologize. With the chairman and with Secretary Espy, laying out, we understand the mistake that was made. We were not happy with it. We understand, the opportunity that this RUS grant presents, and we'll be fully engaged in making sure this happens. And again, we're already doing the walkout. The design will be coming soon after that, and then we'll continue to buy those insurance policies, for lack of a better term, with the BEAD and the BEAM funding. So Madison County is our #1 priority right now.
Great.
Yes.
That's good news.
Yep.
Great.
Mike, would you like to say anything, or is that? You don't have to. I'm just asking.
I'll be
When
brief.
do a lawyer turn that opportunity?
I know.
Don't
I
offer me a
thought
chance to
about
speak.
it too. I thought about that as well.
All right. Well, the public should know that the Board of Supervisors invited Comcast to appear in public this morning, and they responded. They didn't come from downtown Jackson, they came from Atlanta. So that's an indication of the partnership that Mr. Mitchell talked about. I'm very optimistic, after hearing him this morning, that we can get to yes. Round 5, we believe, is coming. They haven't filed yet because the federal government hadn't opened the portal to file. In fact, there are no new regulations that have been announced yet. So we're not at a point where they can't even file. But it's good. We're ready to jump at it when it opens. And the last thing I'd like to say is that the Board of Supervisors authorized a trip to Washington on the 27th through March 2nd or 3rd. And as part of that trip, I know that Mr. Griffin and I will be meeting with the top administrator of Rural Utility Service, Mr. Beakey, and we have a meeting with him about this. We want to do it before the portal opens, before the regulations are promulgated. And we're going to talk about waivers before it becomes an issue. That's why we're going, and we're going to do that. So we'll be meeting with him, Mr. Griffin and I. We will report back to you, but I feel good about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike, for y'all coming. Any other statements?
Thank y'all for coming.
Yes.
Let's just make this happen.
Yes, sir.
For the
Counting on
people
you.
and the
We're
children
counting
that
on
needs
you.
it. That's all what it's about.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Chip.
Look forward to talking with you soon. Yes.
Okay, Drew? Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Other comments, concerned citizens. Please come up.
Hey, Mike,
Catch them.
the public wants to speak.
Good morning, Board.
A
Good
few
morning.
minutes, Ms. Johnson.
Absolutely. Good morning. Thank you all, Board.
Can you get closer to the mic?
Thank you all. I want to say good morning for understanding the needs of the Northeast Madison area and high-speed broadband. I do understand this is a major project and there's a lot of technicality to it. But basing the technical information and specs and so forth on accurate information, citizens in the Northeast Madison have not been made aware of how to report challenges to the Beam online portal, where their residencies indicating that they could receive high-speed internet, but when you phone the provider, they tell you it's not accessible in your area or to your household. So there is some issues with the accuracy of the FCC portal and the actual ability to get high-speed internet. And so I think that was something that I want Comcast to be aware, and also the board, of a challenge process, which is out there for FCC. .gov, but again, community members unable to get internet, doesn't have access to Facebook, wouldn't know the challenge process, wouldn't know if you don't have internet, then there is a 601 phone number to Beam to report so that we can implement and get this process going. It's a lot to get it going, but it needs to be based on factual data, raw data, because internet service is income. It is life for rural Madison County. We have residents not able to work. So it's not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is our lifeline. So I would like to know if Comcast will be partnering or providing community updates, because we're the ones impacted. The board definitely is the authoritative parties, but the community does
Wrap it up a little bit, Ms.
want input in this and updates on the high-speed internet. When can we expect to be on the map, and just as other residents in a lot of areas of the
I
county?
think this board here would be given the updates as well
Okay.
as we move forward.
Okay, will there be announcements? Because we only here today.
Announcements for what now?
When we will be discussing the impact or get updates from Comcast, because we're in the dark. We will be depending on Facebook to get communications. We would not have known Comcast was present today if it was not put on Facebook. And so we're asking just a little bit more communication and information from the community residents. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
And tuning into Madison County website, and Michael just agreed after they filed for the grant, round 5, they are willing to come out into the community.
Okay.
So after they file for that grant, I'll be touching base with Comcast, and we'll get somewhere in the community and let them come.
So we'll be just communicate through you for the main part to get whatever
Yes.
we're not present.
Me or Greg.
Oh, Greg, okay.
Yeah, and look on our Facebook page that we put out.
Absolutely, I will, but that's one of our primary concerns. Residents out there, 75% doesn't get
Have
Facebook,
Facebook, I
don't have
understand.
internet, so.
That's what we're working for.
Yeah, but Mr. Griffin, thank you all board, but Mr. Griffin and Mr. Gregg will be in touch, and thank you Comcast for the service.
All right.
Are there any others that would like to speak for a couple of minutes?
I'm just gonna be brief, but thank the board and Comcast for coming. But I'm just, we want Comcast and the board, like, she said over there. Our area is, we don't have reliable internet. And my concern is for the kids and when they do their homework and stuff, that's mostly. And one more issue that we have out there is when you work from home. A lot of people are not allowed to work from home because when they get a job, they have to pass an internet speed test, and they can't pass it. They can't pass it. And I'm grateful for my supervisor, all of you, and what she said about that area out there. That the kids on that virtual learning.
Yeah.
The kids on the virtual learning. And when I sit down, we may have it covered because we're concerned about people's livelihood in the internet, and they can't work from home because they can't get an internet test passed out there. And most of all, the kids in that virtual learning.
Right.
You know, it's just not feasible. It's not working for us out there. And thank you all for having.
And real quick, keep in mind that we could not be where we're at now without this board working with me. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that by myself. My colleagues have been working with me. And we're gonna pray and hope that they keep working with me. Up on Comcast, there's state money that been mentioned, Beam and whatever other failed project out there. It is headed up right now by a lady named Sally Doty. When she get her ducks in a row, we gonna see where she come to the local community too and talk to the people. Cause I want them to hear it from them. Cause I can't make them do anything. I want them to tell you. So if something go wrong, it ain't on Paul, it's on the one that is operating the organization.
Yes.
So we gonna keep you informed just as much as we can.
That's why I say I thank the entire board and him, Comcast, for coming. I know it's not gonna happen overnight, but you know, just keep in mind of what we are actually going through. And we appreciate the entire board and everybody that's working behind the scene, because I can imagine it's not an easy job.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And one other thing too is that this is a large investment.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we're looking at $25 million investment, and we're committed to this project, along with several others. But we're committed to this project. So, Thank y'all for coming. Any others?
Thank y'all for coming, y'all comments.
Okay. If not, we're gonna move down to Drew.
Good morning, Board.
Good morning.
Buildings and Grounds has two items. The first one this morning is to request authority to increase the project budget for the Sheriff's Office improvements. This came from a recommendation from the architect after they did a final cost analysis running materials and labor. The additional increase was not budgeted, but from the closeout of the detention re-roof, we have enough money to cover that cost.
Okay. Discussion? Yeah, motion?
Motion.
I'll second that
Got a
motion.
motion Supervisor Jones, second by Supervisor Banks. You say this is not in the budget, but you do have money
Yes, sir.
elsewhere.
The
to pay for
increase was not budgeted, but we do have that.
That increase, if I'm looking at it right, is 180.
this. 180,000.
500, 185.
40.
500.
Oh, I'm gonna leave 500
Don't leave
off.
500 off.
Don't leave it off.
All right.
That's only a $40,000 increase over what was budgeted, though. There was $140,000 in the budget for the project. So
Okay,
it's a
so it's only
$40,000.
$40,000.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Okay,
That's the reason I was asked.
that's the reason you let the 500 off.
That made it a little easier.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 35.
The last item is a agreement with Magnolia Data Solutions, and this is for them to provide services for the Household Hazardous Waste Day, April 1st.
Do I have a motion? I'll make the motion for
Move.
approval. Second, Mr. Banks. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Jones.
Good morning, Board. Good
Morning.
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 I'm here before you guys today to see what you approve, line item 36, for the request from the City of Madison Police Department.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Baxter.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Jones. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bryant?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My first one's one we've been looking for a while. I'm asking the board if they will accept the bid of Hemp Hill Construction for a bid of $22,738,264 for the construction of Reunion 3.
Do I have a motion?
And hold on, I got to say a bunch of other stuff for
Hold on
MDOT.
one
Upon
second.
concurrence
We're
from
gonna go ahead
MDOT.
and get to you because there's some questions about this.
Okay.
I have a motion on the floor to accept by Supervisor Jones. Have a second by Supervisor Baxter. Go ahead.
Okay. Upon concurrence by MDOT, then I request the board president be authorized to sign the contract. And as part of the concurrence package, I need the letter that's attached to this agenda item as well as the MDOT checklist signed by the board president for us to submit concurrence documents.
Okay.
All right, what's the process we're looking at here? When's the shovel gonna go on the ground? How long is it gonna take?
Well, what we've got to do is once we get concurrence and the board minutes from this meeting, we'll submit the concurrence package to MDOT. They'll send it to their board for concurrence. At that point, we'll be able to sign the contract. So that's probably a month or so time period. Then from there, Hemp Hill has however long they need to get their bonds and insurance and stuff back to us. And then it will start after that. So I would say 2.5 months. Is that safe, Brad?
They have 60 days to submit and get all their stormwater stuff approved too, so possibly be 3 months or so.
Okay.
Summertime, but we like,
So 3 months before a shovel gets in the ground? 3 more months?
Right.
How long will construction take?
This one's got 18 months? Or
2 years.
is it 2 years? Okay,
24 months.
24 months.
And also talk about, a little bit about how the bids come in again.
We had 2 bids. Hemp Hill was low at 22.7. We had another bid that came in at 27 something. I can't remember exactly.
And we talk about millions.
Millions.
Yeah, you can forget about that.
Oh, the other one came in at 27,
That's right.
320,
And our estimates all along has been
around 22.
22, so we come in very close.
Right.
Okay. Other discussions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
All right, next item is an interlocal agreement with the city of Gluckstadt for us to do the Bozeman Road Improvements Project. This is the exact same interlocal we did with the city of Madison for the south end. We just need to do it for the north end for the city of Gluckstadt.
Move.
Got a motion, Supervisor Banks.
Second.
Second Supervisor Jones, and this is also with Phase 1,
Correct.
along with the south end being done, so it's all going to be done at one time.
That's a good idea.
Well, this is Phase 1 project, which will widen the road up to Reunion Parkway, and then there'll be a bike trail all the way to Gluckstadt with some intersection improvements there at, I believe, Belterre and also at Gluckstadt Road.
Right, and the intersection itself.
Yeah, right, at
Yeah,
the intersection
that's all
itself.
that is in Phase 1.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, all in favor? Say aye. All opposed?
All right, next item has an interlocal agreement between Madison County and the town of Flora. I believe in October 18th of 2021, this board approved matching $154,896 for the town of Flora to get Pocahontas Road resurfaced using MPO funds. This is the MOU which officially obligates us to do that.
Move.
Second.
Got a motion, Mr. Banks, second by Supervisor Jones.
Question. Tim, do we have the $154,897 identified?
I believe we do. No.
We do.
We are working towards identifying it.
We have discussed it.
Okay.
Yes. There are a few different sources, and it's just a question of which source. But there is $154,000 available for this project.
Okay, other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 40.
Next item is the approval of a permit for Bozeman Road improvements. As we did on Reunion 2, we've got to have an MDOT permit in order to do work on MDOT right-of-way. For this project, this will be done at Highway 463 at Bozeman. So we ask that you approve the attached permit and authorize board president to sign it.
So what, I'll make the motion, but where are we at on this? How far?
Got a motion on the floor by Supervisor Baxter. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Supervisor Jones. Discussion.
How long do we have till we get under construction?
This one will probably be about a month or two after Reunion 2, or 3, excuse me.
All right.
We're winding it up. This is all the documents we need. All we've got to do is get one more utility relocated, which is underway. And when they're done, we'll be able to move forward.
Okay.
Other discussion? All in favor? Say aye. All opposed? Item 41.
All right, the next is the Mount Pearl Bridge project. The engineering department requests that the board authorize McBride Company LLC to subcontract with Lane Line LLC and Atwood Fence, Inc.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion Supervisor Baxter.
Second.
Second Supervisor Jones. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Next item is request an authorization to advertise for the Yandell Road Bridge project. This is the one that we discussed that we were going to do in the summer, in between school.
Okay, got a motion Supervisor Jones, second Supervisor Griffin. Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item
Next.
43.
Next item is a request for a time extension for the Yandell Road widening project. We're not sure if we're going to need this, but we've got to do it at this board meeting if we do need it. We need probably 2 weeks of additional time, and the only time extension you can get is a one-year time extension. This will not affect our timeline, anything. The final will just be moved out a year, but we expect to get everything done within the original time frame.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion Supervisor Jones. Second Supervisor Griffin. Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 44.
All right. Item 44 is approval of the road funding plan. I believe each of you has this document, and request that you approve it as shown unless there is a question or any
Which document
changes.
Are we referring to?
It's
That is the one that says 2023 road plan with funding.
Okay, I know there's been some discussions this past week. Do I have a motion for approval?
Hang on before we do that, Tim. Lost Rabbit never got its top layer of asphalt. Do you know anything about that, or why, or why?
Some of it is being done very soon, and some of it we're discussing.
Okay. Thank
But yes, we've got a plan.
Okay, great.
All right,
But, you know, on that lost gravity issue, that's the same, thing that's holding up or why we're holding the letter of credit or whatever we got for the, Terry Lovelace.
Right. That's part of the whole overall situation. We've got a letter of credit for a particular phase that does not have a couple of the streets done in that letter, or in that phase, but the letter of request, her letter of credit is being requested to be released.
And I think it was something, a lot of this happened before you got here.
Right.
I know, and happened while I was not here either, I believe. I can't remember. I remember when Terry started to work out there, and he supposedly did some work that, on other roads that was supposed to take him off of the roads that, I think we're holding a letter of credit for.
Well, that, you're telling me the exact same thing that Mr. Lovelace said, but, you know, nobody was there, and I've got a letter of credit for a particular phase without the work being done, so we just need to all get together.
Okay.
Okay, we have the 2023 road plan, funded road plan in front of us. Do I have a motion?
Ready for a vote.
Got a motion, Supervisor Banks?
Second.
Second, by Supervisor Baxter. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Ronnie, you have a copy of this for your minutes?
Did you just take care of that?
Okay, good deal. Mr. Espy?
Good morning again.
Morning.
I've got 3 quick items, and then there's one item for executive session, which is litigation. Number 45 involves an error in the purchasing department where we ordered asphalt from APAC, and we did not have two quotes. We had one quote. We received the asphalt, we used the asphalt. And this is back in November 2021. This is the second one with the same vendor for the same issue. So I know your question. I can't recommend that we pay it because you denied it. The only other way we could pay it is if I told you we're trying to settle a lawsuit or a threatened lawsuit, but APAC's not threatening us. It'd be a fabrication for me to do that. So the only other option remaining is for us to go, you allow me to go to circuit court to get a declaration with the corporation of APAC to pay this $8,000.
Motion.
We didn't do it before. I didn't want to have 2 at one time. So I believe we can do this. So authorization to cooperate with APAC to allow us to pay them.
Okay, we got a motion, Supervisor Griffin, second from Supervisor Baxter. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
All right, thank you. The second involves the EWPP project from NRCS. EWPP is Emergency Watershed Prevention Program. This is about Bachelor Creek. We were approved for federal action, but it's on a cost share basis. So very quickly, after reviewing the big Bachelor Creek ditch in Canton, the state NRCS approved 5 roads that they would repair 75%, 25%.
Right.
When state NRCS sent the request to federal NRCS denied 2 projects in Bachelor Creek because federal NRCS said it didn't qualify, wasn't eligible because of the imminent risk to human health and so forth. So we just didn't need to appeal that because we would lose. So what we decided to do and what you decided to do, and this is encapsulated in a memorandum of understanding. I've already met with Canton. They've agreed to this. And if you go to the last page, you can actually get to the lick log where the money is. So the 3 projects that were accepted by federal NRCS, state NRCS, 7525 is Sim Street, $137,000, Sisney Avenue, 34720, Jackson Street, 45520. So the total of all 3 that were accepted is $217,740. Federal government pay 75%, $163,305. There's a local cost share of 25%, which is 54-435, and this board and city can agreed to go 50-50 on the 25%. That's 27-217-50 each. On the projects that were denied by the federal government, King Ranch Road and Martin Luther King North, that's 100% all of us because they're not gonna do it. So that's 153-230, MLK at 76-280, that's 229-510 total, 50-50, with the city of Canton is 114-755, and they've agreed to it. So this is a MOU between us and them to do all 5 projects, 75, 25, and 50-50 of 100%. I also want to say that this creek is huge, and we surveyed each mile of it. There's some areas where the water flow is being inhibited because of deferred maintenance from the city of Canton. Rubbish, mattresses in there. This has nothing to do with deferred maintenance, because federal government didn't even consider this within any of these 5 projects. So this is 75-25 for 3 areas along Batcher Creek, and 50-50 of 100% for the ones that were denied. And this is in the MOU, and I request that this be approved and submitted to the city of Canton.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion Supervisor Griffin.
Second.
Second Supervisor Banks. Discussion. Mike, I understand that we can use ARPA money.
Yes, this is an
to
ARPA
pay for
eligible
this
project.
If
Yes.
the board decided to move in that direction. So, okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you. Then once this board signs and the mayor signs, and it's on the minutes, we actually can start this project.
Okay,
Because
good.
this, we do the work, this county does the work, and we get reimbursed from the federal government.
That's great.
All right. All right, the last is an item that I brought to your attention and Ms. Jones' attention last meeting. This is, this county leased property to the city of Madison for 30 years, lease option to purchase, and they opted to purchase. And so they have paid the funds necessary for 30 years, month by month. And so this is a special warranty deed that I've shared with the lawyer for City of Madison. She approves it. And it's just us deeding 5.334 acres of land in City of Madison on which their city hall sits. And this is a deed that we are granting to them.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion Supervisor Jones.
Second.
Second Supervisor Baxter. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, and Mr. Purdy was here for the litigation that we're involved in right now with Community Bank, so, but
There he
that's executive session.
Executive session. Okay. Greg?
Morning, Board.
Good morning.
A few things for you today. Item 48 is a sole source declaration. I'm asking this board to declare Delta the sole provider of Delta software, which is our accounting system, and we use it across quite a few departments in the county.
Motion.
There it is.
Second, yeah.
Got a motion Supervisor Baxter, second Supervisor Banks. Discussion. In favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item 49.
All right, now that,
Question, Greg.
yes, sir.
Upon getting your, all this, how long are you looking to take to get this installed and up and going? Justice Court been in the dark a long time.
My plan, unless I hear differently, is to start it on October 1st to have a clean break at the fiscal year, so that we're not reporting out of 2 systems within the same year, and it gives
Good
both
idea.
Delta and Cawthorn a chance to get in and make sure that everything works.
Okay.
8 months is a long time, and I get that, but it's to make sure that everybody has enough time and nothing is rushed, and our financial reporting is not coming out of 2 places for the same
I
time
think that's a
period.
good
All
idea.
right, sound great.
Item 49.
Is a request for this board to authorize purchase from Delta for Justice Court software. You
Do I
just
have a motion?
Move.
Second,
Supervisor Banks, second Supervisor Griffin. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Item 50.
Item 50 is a Massett Steering Committee nomination. Massett reached out. They are starting steering committees. There are 3 of them: reinsurance, risk management, and underwriting. They have asked each of the boards to consider appointing someone to one of those committees, and if this board would like to do so, here it is.
Which
Does it have
committee
to be a
would you?
supervisor?
It does.
You do?
For the language of the email indicated a supervisor, yes, sir.
Motion, we appoint our president, Gerald Steen.
All of it.
You know, I'm not sure that it has to be a supervisor.
The email and the paperwork does specify supervisor, but I can gladly reach out to Massett and see.
Let's reach out to them and see first.
I just hold that motion then.
Yeah, hold that motion to the next board meeting. We're going to, did not have a motion. I did not recognize that motion at this point. Right. And, but I don't think it has to be a supervisor. If it does, I got a substitute motion. But anyway, thank you for reaching out. Let's just bring it back.
No problem at all. Item 51 is national opioid settlements. Currently, Supervisor Banks is listed as the authorized signatory for the county because he was the board president in 2021 when this started. So my request of this board today is to change the authorized signatory to Supervisor and current board president Steen.
Move.
Second.
And to allow me to affix his electronic signature to all of the settlement documents indicating we will participate in, I believe it's 5 opioid settlements that are ongoing.
Got a motion, Supervisor Banks, second Supervisor Jones, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. When would this thing settle?
We ain't got any money yet.
That's
We have money from 2 of them.
That's really what my question is.
That's the bottom line.
We have 2 settlements totaling roughly 30 grand. These are 5 more from various pharmacies. I don't have a time frame yet.
That's okay. And I know that Mr. Espy is doing one for us as well, a separate one, that he'll probably give an update sometime this year on. And so, okay, good deal.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
The Sun?
Good morning.
Morning.
Item number 52 is the approval of the budget amendments and the interfund cash transfers.
Move.
Motion, Mr. Banks, second Supervisor Jones, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
53 through 55 is the general claims docket and the payroll docket.
Motion.
Do those two. 53 and 54.
Okay.
All right, we talking about item 53 and 54. Motion by Supervisor Baxter, second Supervisor Banks, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Item 55.
55 is the approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission per diem for February.
I make a motion for approval. Second by Mr. Banks. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Mr. Baxter, would you take 55, 57, 58?
Motion.
Move.
Second.
All in
On
favor?
number, what that?
56.
56.
Fleet Corp.
So it's 55.
56.
55.
No, we did 55.
Seven.
We did
56.
55. 56.
56 now.
56 and 57.
55 is
Do
done.
we have a motion on 56 and 57?
Fleet
Yeah,
Corp.
move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay.
That's and 57?
Yeah.
That was 57 also.
Well, we may have the wrong numbers here, but.
Where are we on the docket?
Ronnie Lott.
Say Ronnie Lott, I don't
Yeah.
know.
All
what
right,
number it is.
Mr. Chancellor Clerk, you're up.
Ronnie Lott.
We have before you, on whatever item this is, I received 4 petitions. Pardon me?
It's 58.
Okay, we're going to call it 58. I've received 4 petitions and registrar certificates pertaining to the candidacy for election commissioner of District 2 and District 4 for the following individuals. Number 1, Ms. Barbara Gross, 832 Annandale Road, Madison, Mississippi, District 2, running as a Republican. Mr. Randall Bolden, 528 Catlett Road, Madison, Mississippi, District 2, running as an independent. In District 4, I have Mr. Dan Dickinson, 425 Lakeshore Drive, Madison, Mississippi, running as a Republican, and Mr. Anthony Denton, 146 Dogwood Drive, Canton, Mississippi, running as a Democrat. I request several things. One, that you determine that the candidate's petition is sufficient, that you direct the said names appear on the ballot on the November the 7th,
2023 general election and direct the Chancery Clerk, which is me, to communicate all the foregoing to the Election Commissioner.
Question. On the qualified statement of intent, 3 of the candidates put down the general election to be held August 8th. Only 1 put down the general election for November the 7th in their petition. What?
Democrats and Republicans are going to be the 7th. You're right. There's a confusion there. I see.
Now, what is your recommendation?
My recommendation is to either allow me to return with this or accept the fact that
We will allow
Democratic
you
and
to
Republicans run for the general election and not the primary election.
Yeah, there's no primary. There's no primary.
That's correct.
For either one.
Correct.
Because one's running as independent in the District 2, and one's running as Republican. There's another one running in District 4 as a Republican, and the other one's running as a Democrat. Neither one have a primary.
Correct.
I think that the error is in them thinking that they have probably a primary election.
Yes, sir.
But with no primary. I would believe that they all are certified candidates at this point, but the question needs to be, it just needs to be straightened out, I guess.
And not being circuit clerk.
Back at the next
Sir?
board meeting?
Yeah.
Just bring it back at the next
I
board meeting.
believe I can bring it back at the next board meeting. That's
We
what,
can move
I'm not the
forward.
circuit clerk. I did not know why it was filed this way.
Okay, good deal.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. No,
Thank you,
thank
Mr.
you.
Banks, for catching that.
Mr. Sheriff.
Sheriff?
I only have one item today. It's time for our food services contract to be renewed. We have shopped that around. Our current vendor is still the most viable financial candidate, although they are requesting an 8.1% increase. We anticipated that when we renegotiated our federal per diem for inmates this year, so we're in good shape approving that increase. If you could accept the proposed amendment contract that I have
They are
here.
with you.
I have it with me. I can provide it to your clerk. It's an 8.1% increase, and it varies based on inmate population from day to day. But it could be anywhere from $1.24 per meal on a 500 to 400 inmate population on down to, if we were to get to below 250, it would go to $1.70 a meal. So anywhere in between there based on the daily inmate count.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Got a motion, Supervisor Jones, second Supervisor Banks. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's all I have, Mr.
We would
President.
just give a copy to the Chancellor.
Going to her.
As always.
Yeah.
Thank you. Old business? New business? Do I have a motion to go into closed termination? Motion. Got a motion, Supervisor Baxter. Do I have a second? Second,
Second
Supervisor
motion.
Banks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay.
All
5
right.
minute recess.
5 minutes. I don't know who started at 5 minutes.
Executive session.
That was good.
President, we're going to go ahead and go to executive session.